Do you like German automobiles? Do you want to put your greasy little fingers on one but don't have the moolah to throw down for a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz? Well, boy oh boy do I have a car for you. It handles like a Scirocco, has the roominess of a Dasher, the fuel efficiency of a Rabbit, and my high school girlfriend Abby drove us to prom in one. This is everything you need to know to get up to speed on the Volkswagen Jetta! Hi Abby, congratulations on getting married. Big thanks to Turo for sponsoring this episode of Up to Speed. Turo's the easiest way to drive sick cars without the hassle of going to a car rental place. Plus, it's legitimately way cheaper. Turo's available in over 5,500 cities. I'm constantly surprised that Turo's available in cities I go to because I go to some real small cities. You can choose from over 850 makes and models. Seriously, name it, they have it. You wanna get a car that's not a Chevy Zolt? You can get on Turo, you can get like GTIs and Porsches and stuff. And if you wanna make it really easy, you can have the car delivered to you. Click the link below and sign up to get $25 off your first trip when you enter the promo code Up to Speed. Up to Speed. Up to Speed. Sick. The roots of the Jetta begin with the Golf, or the Rabbit as they called it here in the States. VW's insanely popular front-wheel drive hatchback built to replace the Beetle. While the Golf was a great seller and to this day is the top car sold by the company, VW knew that the more common three-box design car body configuration would attract more customers to the German brand.
We're also impressed that way Volkswagen make Jetta.
Like the Golf before it, the Mark I Jetta got its styling from the Italian automobile designer Giorgetto Giugiaro. The same dude who designed the DeLorean, the DB4, the Scirocco, and like a gajillion other cars. He took the Golf Mark I design and added a rear trunk that matched the boxy angular shape of the popular hatchback. They used the same suspension setup as the Golf. McPherson struts in the front and a twist beam rear suspension in the back. The wheelbase was kept the same at 94.5 inches, but with the added trunk, the overall length was increased by 15 inches. But VW couldn't charge 25% more for just adding a trunk to a Golf. Well, I mean, they could, but they didn't. They classed the interior up, offering multiple trim levels to choose from that included velour or vinyl. And did I say a trunk? The budget sedan was practical enough for a family of four and sporty enough to make you forget about your family of four. And the motor? She was zippy. It was the same one that they put in the Scirocco, the Audi 4000, and yes, the Ribbit. It was a 1.6 liter Bosch KE Jetronic fuel-injected inline-4, producing 76 horsepower and 83 pound-feet of torque, capable of getting you and the fam to 110 miles per. Yay! Honey, slow down. We gotta get to church on time. It's Saturday, Frank. I know that, Deborah, but we're Jewish. Oh, that's right. VW was an early proponent of passive restraint systems like automatic seatbelts. Remember, this was the 80s. Cars had to have them, but it didn't mean you had to wear them. The Jetta got a 5 out of 5 on crash test rating by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration for both the driver and front passenger sides. In 1984, the last year of the Mark I, VW would release their GLI, the sporty spice version of the Jetta. Similar to the Golf GTI, the GLI copied over many of the parts from its hatchback pro, like the 90 horsepower 1.8 liter engine. The motor got lighter pistons, a higher compression ratio, and the cylinder heads were altered for performance. It was a GTI with a trunk.
Jetta. It's not a car. It's a Volkswagen.
But while the Golf Mark I sold like Ghostbusters, the Jetta didn't. Even though it was more practical for a family of four, the hatchback brother outshone it. So what did VW do? They continued to make the Jetta. Enter the Mark II! Americans love their sedans, but the inaugural Jetta was just a little too small. So VW gave it a shot at HGH, and the Jetta got bigger, going from subcompact to compact. This preteen growth spurt made the Mark II nearly 4 inches longer and 2 inches wider, and the wheelbase grew over 2.5 inches. And just like me, it could now hold 5 people instead of 4. And the real car fact you all came here for, the trunk, it gained 30 liters or 10 bottles of Faygo. Whoop, whoop! The baseline Mark II Jettas came standard with a 1.8 liter inline-4 mated to either a 4-speed manual or a 3-speed automatic. There are also diesel options. The pumped up GLI returned for the second generation in 1987 and started with a 1.8 liter 16 valve and then was upgraded to a 2 liter 16 valve with 134 horse burst. That's the ones you want. Both were mated to a 5-speed manual and came with sportier, wide alloy wheels made by BBS, sport-tuned suspension, and really, really sick Ricardo seats. And while the Mark II Jetta was the best-selling European car in North America, outselling its lil bro 2-1, VW sales in the States were dropping. This was partly due to them selling the second-gen Jetta unchanged in the States for 8 years, the longest running Jetta to date. That might sound good, but its competitors at the time, like the Toyota Camry and the Honda Accord, were getting better, while the Jetta pretty much stayed the same. VW started to feel the pinch as early as the 80s here in the States. North American sales would teeter-totter throughout the decade, but in 1993, it hit an all-time low, 50,000 vehicles sold. That's the total number across all models. In 93, Toyota sold 300,000 Camrys, so it wasn't a time when people weren't buying cars across the board, because they were. Americans just weren't buying VWs. VW debated pulling out of the North American market altogether, but luckily for me, in 1993, the Mark III changed all that. You see, VW knew that Abby would need a third-gen Jetta to drive us to prom, so they obliged. The third-gen Jetta will go down as the car that saved the American arm of VW. If you're European, you never got the third-gen Jetta. Ha! Now you know what it feels like, Europe! Actually, Europe did get the Mark III Jetta. It was just called the Vento. Yeah, they got smaller bumpers and cooler trim lines too. Yeah, I know. Giorgetto Giugiaro didn't put his design hands on the Mark III, but Herbert Schaefer did. Schaefer rounded the edges of the car, helping create a more modern look for the time, but still keeping true to the Jetta image. The Mark III got 2 new motors, the TDI, a 1.9 liter turbocharged direct injection diesel engine, and toot toot, the VR6, 2.8 liter dual overhead cam, narrow angle V6, the second best sounding motor ever. The compact design helped VW run the VR6 in cars that only had space for 4 cylinders, like the Jetta. The 172 horsepower VR6 got the Windmobile moving from 0 to 60 in a very sexy 6.9 seconds. McPherson struts in the front and torsion beam axle out back, along with front and rear sway bars. The most important upgrade though, cup holders. 7 of them to be exact. You want to learn more about cup holders? Check out this episode of Wheelhouse. The interior was further refined. Leather seats were an option now. VW used recycled plastics inside that cabin in order to sell the Jetta as more environmentally friendly. They also ditched the 2-door version. With so many improvements over the previous Jetta Mark II, VW sold close to 400,000 Mark IIIs during its 5-year run, effectively pulling VW out of their slump. But staying in America, boys. Oh, that's so great. And if the Mark III Jetta isn't sorority girl enough for yous, VW was working on the most sorority girl car ever. The fourth gen was the beginning of the Golf Jetta separation, but the two cars did share a few things during those years that are important. The main one being the 1.8 liter turbo, AKA never lose. If you were in the VW car game at the time, the battle raged between the VR6 and the 1.8T. Which one is better? If you want my humble boy opinion, it'd have to be the VR6. But what do I know? I've only owned 26 of them. The VR6 returned with the Mark IV, and this time you could get it with 24 valves. And the GLI was back. It got some cool suspension bits, really cool body kit, and big old 18-inch BBS honkers. And the best part about the Mark IV and the 1.8T was the whoosh. The Mark IV wasn't all roses though. It got new electrical gremlins and cheap interior parts peeled and popped off. Also, it smelled like crayons. I don't know why they smell like crayons. If you do, let me know in the comments. It's called a call to action. It builds a community. You see, YouTube is different from TV because you can talk to me. Can't wait to hear from you. The Mark IV ended in 2005, paving the way for an entirely new generation of Jetta. The Mark V had maybe the scariest ad campaign of all time, the Safe Happens commercial.
Stuff doesn't sort of like happening.
BAM! Those guys are dead now! Mark V was all right. You could get it in the sport wagon, which was cool, but the standard model was basic and lacked some of the character and charm that the previous years had. The Mark VI was the high-volume car VW made to fight their Japanese competitors, Toyota and Honda, which actually was working out for VW until this little thing popped up in the press. Dieselgate. You ever heard of it? I'm sure you have. Ironically, the 2009 Jetta diesel sedan was awarded Green Car of the Year, an award that was rescinded in 2015 once the truth got out about how the diesel produced 40 times more noxious gases than they said. Just don't lie. Just tell the truth. Almost tanked the company. The Mark 7, well, not the company, just the company in America. Volkswagen is too big to fail. The Mark 7, it's the new, hot new Jetta that VW built to get them out of their lies.
And in my German words, we have totally screwed up.
Because since 2011, sales of the Jetta have continued to slowly decline, dipping into 5-figure sales numbers. Again, don't lie, kids. Once you break the bond of trust, you may never, ever, ever, never, ever, 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 never, ever be able to trust that person again. Thanks for watching Up to Speed and Donut Media in general. Me and all my friends work here, and honestly, my dream job. Oh, you want to see another sick Volkswagen? Check out this episode of my other show, Bumper to Bumper. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at James Pumphrey. Follow Donut on Instagram and Twitter at Donut Media. I love you.